Hello everyone, I'm here with Team 5000, the Hammerheads, at the New England District Championship event. We're here with Logan and Tori to take us through the 5000 machine that everyone's been talking about this season. We'll go over their dual intakes, their turreted shooter, and how the decisions that they made led to this robot. Coming up next on Behind the Bumpers.
All right, so here's Icarus. We are gonna take you on a tour of our little robot right here. So from the start, we got our two intakes. We chose to use a rack and pinion. We ended up laminating this out of two 3/16" pieces of SRPP using 3M 8005 glue to glue it together, which ended up giving us like the perfect thickness to be able to have these rack and pinions not shear teeth. We've noticed a lot of teams had issues with the teeth shearing, but we haven't really seen any of those issues here. We've run these things through 2 comps and about 40 hours of drive practice, and they seem to be handling it just fine. The other benefit of going rack and pinion with SRPP is that they are extremely good at impacts. So from the side, it just takes the side impact. And then when we come in from the front, if Tori, you don't mind holding my mic, it just collapses inward. So what you'll notice is we don't even have a bash bar in our intake because our forward impacts, the polycarb tube takes the brunt of it, but then it goes in. And we also have our kicker down here, which is at this point a 254 inspired intake, but then I noticed last night they're now doing like some weird, I think it's dimpled metal with their kicker now, but not weird, but it's cool. So we got 2 3/8" hex light shafts going there for our kicker, which is held down with some surgical tubing. And that's the same thing on the other side. The other nice thing about our intakes is that because they're rack and pinions, they can be packed in super tight. So from the side, on each side, we're only taking up 1.3 inches of space, which is really what allowed us to enable this double intake thing with not taking up too much internal space inside the robot. They overlap each other when they go in. And then also we have these nets which go on top, and they're actually sewn to form a full box. That way you can get our full 60 fuel capacity.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. FRCT's Managed Store Program is an easy and profitable way to fundraise for your team or off-season event. FRCTs will handle everything from production, packaging, bulk or drop shipping, payment collection, and accounting. Teams can set their own prices, and FRCTs will take care of the rest. Fill out a quote request or get more information when you schedule a callback at frcts.com. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AndyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AndyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at AndyMark.com, the AMPD AndyMark Power Distribution Board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's AndyMark.com.
So as we move further into the robot, we get to our Diroter. This is our coaxial Diroter. It's so basically these wheels, these feed wheels, are spun separately from the hook itself, with a motor for the feed wheels right here and a motor for the hook on the other side. We use chain, and then there's this really cool bearing stack on the inside that helps enable that, and it only sits again about 1.3 inches from the bottom of our robot, which allowed us to be able to fit this bowl super down low and inside of our swerves. Another thing which enabled us to do that was by making our frame rails 1/4 inch. So these side plates are part of our frame rails here actually. And that allowed us to get a big enough bowl to be able to pack everything in while also still being able to meet our design requirements and be just strong. We've taken tons of tough hits and they have survived no problem. We've even seen a couple other teams this year doing it. The con of doing a system like this is our electronics get put all over the robot. Last year we had upside down mounted ones, but like this year we got our PDP right in here. We got a reel along the side, and we even got our 2 orange pies up top. From there, our Diroter feeds the fuel up into our turret. This is what I call the inverted pancake turret. This here is it pops up. We sit around 3 inches tall. Our week 0 turret was a pretty standard turret, which took a lot of space. We only had about 20 fuel capacity then. By doing this, we were able to enable the full 60 fuel that this robot's capable of. So this turret hood pops up. If you'll notice, actually, from the inside, it's an 18-inch ring gear that sits down here. and it's just super large and flat, basically, was the end goal. So it goes all the way out. And then we got around 420 degrees of rotation with this turret, which enables us for some really, really cool shoot on the move. And in conjunction with our dual intakes, we see very few turnarounds. Another thing I'd like to mention is we add the stabilizer in here, which seems to really help with our shot consistency and our spread. And another thing that teams were skeptical of is how we were going to wire everything. We got this little wire pull right here on the side that lets all these wires run up, so you don't have to run anything on the sides. And then lastly, something I forgot about was our intakes are connected with this dead axle roller. This is carbon fiber tube, which connects our two intakes together, or two sides of the intake together to keep them from racking. And that uses little stubs on the inside to be able to enable that. As we move up outside of the robot, we can talk about some of the vision stuff with Tori.
So we're running 6 ArduCam OV9281s, 4 on the corners, and then 1 on the front, 1 on the back. And those are running on 2 Orange 5.5 Pros running Photon Vision. And this lets us get pretty much, not quite 360, but definitely we're seeing hub tags almost all the time. And that lets us have full field localization so that we can shoot from any orientation as you'd want to with a turret bot, as well as from the opponent's side and all of that stuff. That lets us just not really have to worry about, oh, are we facing the hub? Can we see it? Which is definitely very helpful. And this also kind of helps with some other automated systems we have going. So for example, when we're going through the trench, there's a zone around the trench, and in that zone, it will duck the hood and it will align us to the trench both rotationally and along the y-axis. And that lets us just full send it through the trench, especially because the zone actually, it's predictive. So if we're gonna be in that zone in around 0.5 seconds, it will start to do all that stuff. It will start to align us, we'll start to duck the hood, so that by the time we get there, everything's all good, which lets me just absolutely full send it through the trenches. I'm never worrying about hitting the walls with that, which I'd say is also just generally very helpful. Also, just the strategic decision behind going dual intake, which I'm sure a lot of people might question, is for one, just the absolute redundancy of this. The number of matches where maybe a roller's popped off or a belt's like gone off the pulley or anything like that on one intake, and it's just been completely fine. We just swapped the intake to the stable one, and if we didn't have the 2 intakes, that would be just a complete loss for us. Whereas now it's basically probably been like 10 matches where we've just had that come in absolute clutch. It's also helpful for against defense, where if someone's trying to pin us with like 1 intake against a wall or something like that, we can just swap the intakes, go the other direction. It's really hard to predict. It's really hard to defend against, especially with the turret with like all the shoot on the move stuff. So then with the intakes, it kind of also brings us to the overrides that we have on our driver station. So we have a whole set of kind of buttons and switches over here that let us disable different parts of the robot. So here up on the top row are we can just disable a bunch of any subsystem, and then just some other kind of toggles over here. And also what we found really useful is live RPM adjustment. So for events like this, the fuel is super squishy, and we've definitely needed to, in some matches, just give it some extra RPMs where we're shooting consistently short, because fuel compression can have a big effect on shots and all that. But yeah, demo time, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna deploy one of our intakes. We have our right intake currently disabled. That way you guys can see it from the inside. So we just feed them in, and that helps a ton keeping them in, so we can run our RPM on our intake motor super fast. Then you wanna pull that intake in? All right, so if we come over here, we can watch that Diroter spin up in action. You wanna spin up the territory? I'll sit here and... So something to note is normally we have our battery held back here. That way it's not getting slapped by our Diroter each time, but we didn't want to put a zip tie in right now for this interview. So with our LEDs, these are new for this competition. You'll notice we have these shift timers that count down how much time's left. So this is for our transition shift, how much time's left. That way Tori, our driver, can see. I'll still be there counting down, stuff like that. but we also have this to be able to tell. So right now, this means that our hub is inactive because it's red. Some people have been upset by the fact that we chose red and blue, but those are honestly the best colors to do, and we didn't want to swap them for whether inactive or active for memory purposes. But then they start strobing at the last 5 seconds, and then now we're active. And that goes all the way down to endgame, where then it goes purple, I believe. So, yeah, that's our robot. And thank you guys for joining 5000 on this amazing tour of Icarus.
Thank you so much, Team 5000. We really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through your robot. If you have any other questions or thoughts about this robot, check out their thread on Chief Delphi. And good luck with the rest of the competition today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AnyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AnyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at anymark.com, the AMPD AnyMark power distribution board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's anymark.com. FRCT's Managed Store program is an easy and profitable way to fundraise for your team or off-season event. FRCTs will handle everything from production, packaging, bulk or drop shipping, payment collection, and accounting. Teams can set their own prices, and FRCTs will take care of the rest. Fill out a quote request or get more information when you schedule a callback at frcts.com.